Hey guys, this is Flash coming out with a special weather briefing for Wednesday, or rather Tuesday, November 13th. I should have put thread in quotes because for most of us, spoiler alert, we're not going to get a whole lot out of this, but for a few of us, we may see our first accumulation of the 2018-2019 winter season. So let's jump right in. We're at NOAA now, National Weather Service. You can see most of the Middle Tennessee populace not under any advisory to watch at this time, exception the far northwestern quadrant of Middle Tennessee. So these four counties, Montgomery, Stewart, Humphreys, and I believe it's Benton. You could see, I live in Dixon, so just one county too far south and one county far too east. Fan layer up in northwest Dixon, you can pretty much consider yourself a part of this weather advisory. But if you're living in the purple counties, basically under the gun for 1 inch of snow and glaze, which is notable for this time of year. We're not even at the midpoint of November. We're in the first half technically, and we're seeing the snow threat. I can't remember the last time this happened. It happened in 2000 maybe, and maybe 1993. I believe we got snow on Halloween that year. Not a whole lot, but it was accumulation nonetheless. If you live in the blue counties, that's a winter storm watch. You probably get up to 2 or 3 perhaps. It's more of a range at that point, 1 to 3 instead of up to 1 inch. So you're more likely to see more than 1 inch of snow up there. But Bowling Green, you're out of it. You might see some wraparound snow like Nashville, but accumulation along the 65 corridor this go-around doesn't look too likely. It's going to be a mostly western Tennessee and western Kentucky special. So with that open, we're going to pop back and forth between the 12 ZGFS and 18 ZGFS. 18Z is more recent, but 12Z is a little bit more accurate verification-wise. So we'll start here. Having tech issues tonight, so I'm going to try and be efficient and swift here. So you can see the cold core low taking form over the Texas Panhandle, not the Texas Panhandle, the Arlotech region. Oops. Let's freeze it at 30. So you see the low here. This is hour 30, so valid 18Z, that'd be noon tomorrow. So it's over southwestern Arkansas, moving more east and north between hours 30 and 36. And when I say those hours, I mean hours from this point of the run. So this was valid. This ran between 9 and 10 a.m. today. So obviously we're probably, between, I guess, 1820, if my math is correct, hours from this happening. Within 24 hours, bottom line. And you can see at hour 36, some snow beginning to pop on the Mississippi River, Memphis, Dyersburg, Boot Hill, Missouri, Poplar Bluff, almost you're not going to Little Paducah at this point. Jonesboro, I guess I already said it. I'm tired, I'm loopy, guys. I'm not going to lie. Snow should be breaking out. Note how the low moves more east and north between 30 and 36, but by 42, it's cutting more to the north. That's important. And one of the reasons why is note where the high pressure is. At 30, the high it's quickly moving to the northeast, but it's over Chicago, which at this point, we freeze it at noon tomorrow. The airflow is coming at us, Middle Tennessee, that is, from the north. The rain hasn't quite moved in. We're still too warm. You see these dashed lines, the red and blue lines. Those are decameter lines. The easiest way to explain it, you see a number, 534, 540. You add a 0 to that, and that gives you the meters up into the atmosphere. 540 would be 5,400 meters up into the air. Right? A little over 18,000 feet, probably closer to 20,000 feet, but it's basically reflects how low the heights are dipping, and the lower the heights are, the shorter the air column, and that's good because the less amount of height difference you have to work with the cold air in place. It means that a snowflake that's falling from the clouds has less distance to melt over its fall to the surface. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, we'll carry on. So you can see most of Tennessee, the western 3/4, 4/5, mostly rain, cold rain. You see some sleet, freezing rain breaking out in the north. It's really odd to see that, but it makes sense because this is not a typical low cutting from the northwest, not an Alberta Clipper. It's not a Gulf low. This is a cold air low that generates its own cold air. So really, the name of the game is you want to be, on the western side, but also you need to be in proximity to where the core is, where the low is actually sitting overhead. So that's why, obviously, the further you go out in any low, chances are you're going to be in a warmer sector. Will this blue that you see on the screen reach Middle Tennessee? Well, we'll find out. 12Z says a little bit of wraparound snow showers, but that's about it. Nothing to get too excited about. As we'll see in pivotal weather, this equates to a dusting if we're lucky for some. I mean, this isn't terribly exciting. If I would probably wouldn't be cutting this vid if we were in the heart of January, but because we're so early, it's super notable. And also, it's worth it to point out that if forecasts verify, Memphis could see its record-breaking snow for the month of November. So, because they're not far from us, this storm could be. I mean, if I say of historic proportion, that sounds too big, but it could produce some record snowfall amounts again for the month of November. So we'll go to the 18Z. It's going to be a little different. Snow breaks out a little further east, but we covered the low tracks, so we'll just quickly. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of myself. Didn't mention this previously, but I believe that where that transition zone is between rain and snow, it's where the heaviest snow is going to be. It's usually not the case with the Gulf lows or different types of lows because you look for that deformation band, which involves dynamics that'd be too hard to explain. Your theta E for all you weather weenies listening to this, and you look for the most baroclinic environment. In this case, the heaviest rates are going to coincide with that transition zone. So where the heaviest rates are, it's going to be indicative of who sees the most rain and or snow out of this. So I really feel like the Tennessee River is turning out to be a good dividing line for this. If you're west of the river, like you can just project the Tennessee River going up to Kentucky, using land between the lakes as a reference point. You go north of that. If you're west of that, it's going to be mostly snow, mostly frozen precip. On the northern periphery, you're further away from. You're in colder air, but you're far enough away from the low to be. It's more ice than snow. It will end as snow for you guys in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, but really, this is again. It's going to be a Boot Hill special, Paducah special, Mount Vernon, Cape Girardeau. This is 36 hours out. This would be valid midnight. Wednesday night and Thursday. So, also worthy of note, this little looks like a little triangle that's punching into the precip batch. That's dry air intrusion. Air flow around a low is counterclockwise. So this is you follow the cursor and the air's coming out into Middle Tennessee from the southwest. Earlier, it was from the north, but the wind's going to turn as the low moves to our north and west, and then starts to cut more east-northeast into Kentucky. We're going to be under the gun for some more southwesterly winds, and that's going to bring with the dry air, and that's going to be one of the several factors that keeps our snowfall potential at bay, unfortunately. But again, when you're looking at these maps, just know where your low pressures are and your high pressures, and note the airflow around it. Kind of gives you an idea of what direction the winds are coming from and the type, the nature of the air mass it's ushering in with it. So. But wraparound snow showers are possible. I mean, I could see this being a little further south here. This would be 6 p.m. Thursday. So I'm not ruling out the possibility of scattered flurries, but just consider yourself lucky if you see any snow out of this. So I'm going to close travel tidbits and show you 12Z GFS snowfall totals. All right, so this is what it's spitting out for the entire storm system. You can see some pretty healthy amounts. Mount Vernon, Paducah, 5 to 6 plus inches of snow. That seems a lot. I would reduce that by 20% because sometimes the models have a tendency of taking sleet and freezing rain and counting it as snow. And so if any ice, any non-snow amounts you get will cut into the overall snow totals. I even think these 0.2, 0.3, 0.5 amounts outside the plateau, a little too generous. Typically in Milton, so you could count reduce it by 30, 40% to get more accurate readings. So if you do that, you could see this. We barely get anything quantifiable. I feel like this is painting a best case scenario. We go to 18Z. It's going to be a little different because it cuts. The cut of the low in 18Z is a little different. So you could see the heaviest precipits are further east. I'm not sure I'm buying it, even though I want to, because in this case, my home is getting somewhere between 2 and 3 inches of snow, and I just do not see that happening. But I think these are way too generous, and I think there'll be a little bit of freezing rain, not a whole lot, but there's going to be some glaze. So freezing rain amounts would be generally under 1/10 of an inch for the winter weather advisory counties, and even adjacent counties. So I'm not buying these until it's off the 18Z GFS, bottom line. But a man can dream, I guess. It's not, out of the woods, but I'm going to close GFS. Actually, let me go to the NAM. I forgot about the NAM. And didn't really talk about it in Sunday's vid. What is this? 12Z, no, 18Z NAM. Similar to the 12Z GFS. But still, it's interesting to note that all of these runs we're looking at means more than a trace of snow for Nashville. Doesn't mean I buy it. I'm leaning towards trace for now. But 12Z GFS, let's look at that. We're looking at the last two runs of the NAM and GFS. You see the trend. Really, you get west of the river, and that's where the gold is. And if I snow chase after work tomorrow, you could bet I'm either going 40 and then cutting north towards Union City, UT Martin, or going up 24 to Hopkinsville, past LBL into the Paducah metro area. So I didn't really show you this either. I love the plume viewer. It could be a little overdone. Maybe perhaps too generous, but it's basically a model composite. You can see different numbers here, and let's go total snow. So it will take a lot of different types of American models, and it will give you like a mean average. You can see that noted by the thick black line here. This is part of the SPC and the National Weather Service. So this is a NOAA product, and it's worth utilizing and factoring into winter weather forecast. It was actually too conservative in tropical Winter Storm Jonas back in 2016. But again, you can see a lot of members not zero. I mean, there's plenty that are zero, plenty are trace, but there's also several that are between 0 and 1 inch. These are your 0.2, 0.3s we're looking at. So this is probably the GFS and NAM. I guess I didn't show you the HRR. Let's go back and let's see if the HRR model is showing anything, because I actually haven't checked. This is another one that's really good within 24 hours. This runs every hour in 24 hours, so I don't think we're going to see anything. It's still out of range, I think. Yeah, so we'll come back to that. But that's the SREF Plume Viewer. WPC Winter Prediction Center, forgot to show you this as well with the bookmark, but it's part of NOAA, so that's why I left it off. Winter weather events, I really enjoy their products, their probability products. So day 2, this has actually changed last time I looked at it. This green, this moderate zone and the probability legend, 40% more of 3 inches or more. The blue would be 10%. I believe it's at 3 or 4. Crap, I'm out of practice. 4 inches. Whoa. So you can see how, if this is correct, just if you live in Clarksville, you're on the borderline of a 10% 4-inch zone. So that means there's a 90% you're going to get less than that. But still, when you're that close, it's worth paying attention to, because even an inch or two could cause major travel headaches. I've seen even just like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch snow events cause major headaches if it all sticks to the roads. I will say, I think if we do see snow falling, it's not going to stick to the roads. It's not going to be falling heavy enough, and the roads, the surface temperatures was often very different than the air temperature, especially in November, where we're still, we're only a month away from upper 80s and upper 90s, guys. Like, as cold as it's been this month, it's still, we're still far from meteorological winter, the coldest time of year. So ground temps not going to be favorable for lost stickage unless it was just that low was going to track at the perfect spot, and we were this whole thing was just a little further east by like 1,500 miles. So sorry, I got off rambling there. You want to go to interactive weather map when you see this. Look for the interactive, and you'll see this page. I like to go to the GIF images if they will load the GIF. Snow, freezing, rain, probably forecast accumulation by percentile. Forecasting, you live in land probability, so this is nice. Don't like the ESR as much. I like the GIFs. I could see the breakdown. I don't know how to zoom in. I'll figure that out next time. But snow. This is for the probability of 1 inch. You could see that bullseye square, Cape Girardeau, Cairo, Paducah. That's 80-90% of 1 inch. Go to 2. Well, actually, we'll pause it here. By Thursday night, there's a 90-95%. Sheesh. Mount Vernon is the place to be. That's 2 inches. So 1 inch. Let's look for Nashville. We're in that light. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Nashville was that brown right there, which would put us between 1 and 5%. But you could see that, there's the urban heat island effect. There's a lot going against downtown Nashville. But you get outside, that yellow is, I think, 5 to 10. My head's covering up the precip grid. Then you get that light green. Now you're talking 10, 20, 20, 30. And, for my county, we're probably the darker green. I think this might be a smidge too generous for me to be like my location, 30 to 40% chance of 1 inch. I'll believe it when I see it, I suppose. But 2 inch, yeah, it's pretty much, we're getting close to nil. But the theme is clear, where the heaviest snow is setting up. But for portions of Middle Tennessee, it's not out of the woods. That northwest quadrant, that winter weather advisory, 2 is not impossible, but 1 is looking more likely. So let's look at the freezing rain. And 0.01, a lot. That's all you need for a glaze, and certainly enough to fall and slip and hurt yourself. Threats, not great. I mean, they're not zero, so we must talk about them, but it's going to be hard for any further precip to stick, and that's why the probabilities are so low for Nashville. 0.1 inch or more, that's going to be more Kentucky. Quarter inch, let's just see. That would be, you're starting to get into ice, some not quite ice storm thresholds, but usually if you're just getting pure ice, like sleet, freezing rain, no snow, 1/4 inch is enough to get your advisory set. Looks more for northern Kentucky, central Kentucky, and Indiana. Okay. WPC, that's Weather Prediction Center, Winter Precipitation Guidance. Bookmark that as well. To your list. I really enjoyed it. So interesting. We're so close, guys. We're so close. But close but no cigar is probably the theme here. So we'll see if the maps change. If this look, here's the official advisory graphic. Other latest package. There's a potential for an inch of accumulating snow in Middle Tennessee, highlighted purple. There's a chance near Limb between the lakes accumulation won't begin until 6 p.m. Wednesday night. So I do think if you live out this way, you should be fine for Wednesday night services. But just pay attention to the weather tomorrow, and we'll see. For the rest of us, let's just pray we'll see a little bit of flurry action, just to kind of get in the mood for the holiday season. That's what I'm rooting for. But all right, guys, that's it for now. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments. I'll try and have another update tomorrow if things drastically change. If the threat is fizzled and it's kind of like, I'll just post a write up and just say, hey guys, this is what's going on. This is why things have changed. And but if there's an upgrade, certainly we'll want to get the word out. So, all right, guys, as I want to say, I'll keep you. What do I say, Flash Weather? I'll catch you on the fry. There you go. Peace.